Hello everybody, let me get things set. Hope everyone is feeling good on this Wednesday. I'm running a little late. I wanted to look at, somebody asked me a question about why are tarot readers and intuitives getting it so wrong? And you know, as I was thinking about that, because I have been thinking about it, I pulled some, generally what I think is that we haven't learned the lesson that we need to learn from this moment in time. So if we want a certain outcome and it doesn't show up, and again, this is my non-political channel, so I don't want to go there politics-wise, but it's there. So let's talk about it in those terms a little bit. If we were looking at a more gentle, smoothing path in our political environment, in our country, we certainly didn't get it with this current administration. It just seems like it's almost comical. If you look at the headlines, you go, is this really us? Is this true? And so many of us have predicted, and I don't like to use that term, but had a different outcome with this. And when you're reading the cards, they are not final, but it's a roadmap, and it is a roadmap with paths that you can take. So we took a different path, and so and I'm like, but I didn't take a different path. This is the path kind of veered off. So some people said, did we jump timelines? And that's another video, because certainly we can jump timelines. In the shamanic practice of journeying, we jump timelines. And so, yeah, we can. We can. I mean, is this the Matrix? I mean, it goes into just endless stuff. But so to answer this question, why, what is it that we didn't get? And just one theory, I pulled out a book, and I've been using this book recently, just reading it. And I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying that's the path that we should take. It's a path to look at. That's it. And in this book, it says, hopefully I did, yay. It says that, it's funny, I was looking for a specific title in the book, and it's right there where my fingers are, and it's in bold. So, when I'm pulling out the book, I got the ascension process, how we ascend to a higher level, because it feels like we're in such a low level in the US and in the world with all this destruction, all this hate, all this fear going on. So let's just tap into this a little bit. The candidate for ascension, so these are talking about the ascended masters. Now, that's not us. However, we can switch this to the candidate to end the reincarnation process. If you believe that life continues and we keep learning things and we keep growing from our previous lives and we keep having challenges from our previous life. So let me just look at this. The candidate for ascension must meet 7 major initiations. Okay? So what are this, and I'm not going to get into this deeply because we'll be here forever. Well, that's probably a good place to be instead of the other place. Okay, anyway. First, the candidate must learn to control and transform all thoughts and feelings that are not aligned with the divine self. Interesting word self, because I thought it was going to go to purpose. So I thought it was not aligned with their divine purpose. No, it's their divine self. And this book is always talking about the I am. We are creators, which I talk about on Sunday, in the Sunday with Spirit podcast, is that what you call them? That we are on the web of creation. What we say and vibrate manifests, if we can get on that web of creation. So we must first learn to control and transform thoughts and feelings that are not aligned with our divine self and our divine purpose. Second, hang on. Okay, the second, after they've finished the first successfully, then they are given instructions in the law. And here they understand, they develop the understanding of the law of cause and effect. And one of the things that I highlighted here, because I'm like, oh, there's a lot of work. It's like, it's a pleasant and happy time of sowing the seeds, of breathing life upon those seeds, and bringing in a harvest of work. And that's what I think we do on the web of creation, with the hum, with our voice, with our breath. All right. Third, those who have successfully passed 1 and 2, they are now to learn the discipline of unconditional love and harmony for their own life stream and for all other forms of life. Okay, I get that. Good. I believe in all plants, animals, all that stuff. We're all one. Here's where it gets tricky. This initiate, going into the third room of ascension, they are placed in living quarters with those who have tendencies within themselves which are particularly aggravating to others. Oh, shit. This is where the numbers of neophytes dwindle, and with a great feeling of relief, many candidates rush to the door and leave us. Yeah, so there's a couple of things here. They are placed in living quarters with those who have tendencies within themselves which are particularly aggravating to others. There are certain things I do, yes, thank you. There are certain things that I do that I know are aggravating to certain people, i.e. my wife. Well, because we've been living for 34 years in the same space. So yeah, there are certain things that do rub us. And how do we get along with that? Well, there's a lot of letting go. There's a lot of forgiving. There's a lot of, I'm not going to let that bother me type stuff. But I also went to look at this as if, well, if I was living with somebody who just wasn't aggravating, but had totally different views than what I think is the right way, that's where I kind of falter a little bit. So let's move on to the fourth. So fourth, for the first time, the candidate, if they've completed 1 through 3, must draw forth enough purity to see his or her I am presence and his holy Christ self face to face. So we talk about this in the Galactic Heritage deck as well, where we have this natural humility card, and in it it says it's not braggadocio, is that the right word? But it's just a humility that we are all of the same cloth. We are all of source energy. So if we can access source energy, if we are source energy in our little sphere that expands, let's acknowledge it with natural humility, not big egos or little egos, just humility. The fifth, so that I can kind of get that, right? So there's a couple of things that I'm on board with, and a couple I'm going, oh, I'm struggling here. I'm struggling. That last one. The fourth, I'm okay with this. I get it. I don't think I do it very well, but I can see it. Fifth, the service of consecration. Ooh, so here we go. We are being consecrated, where all body systems are consecrated to purity and ascension. The hands unto which the flame of healing is infused. We have many, many, many healers here in this community. And it says, of the hands unto which the flame of healing is infused, and of the feet which becomes the anchors to the sacred fire. When I went to Shasta this last summer, the message that a group of us got was that we are to be the anchors for peace. And I mean, I love that. I'm a boat guy. I know how to anchor things. I know how to set an anchor. I know how difficult it is to set an anchor so you don't get pushed up on the rocks. And there's when my buddy and I, we owned a boat together. And the weird thing about this, and he is now a very strong Republican. He always was a strong Republican. He may be a little, and he did vote for the other guy. But I don't want to go into politics. But we never got into much of an argument. Very, very rarely, except in anchoring. We always got into, you're not doing it right. So one guy would go, I'm anchoring. And the other guy go, okay, I'm the deckhand. I'll do what you say. And so we are the anchors for healing. And our hands have healing. And many of us have that ability. Sixth, the temple of service. This is where the initiate is expected to temporarily put aside worldly pursuits to be in service to others and to become his brother's keeper. And I think about that temporary service, temporarily, and I go, oh, is that like, when people go out knocking door to door and go on missions and stuff like that? Maybe, but is it temporary? I don't know. And then seventh, he is ready to, after completing, we are ready to enter the seventh temple, the temple of the violet fire, where every atom, cell, and electron of his being, completely purified by the action of the violet flame under the sponsorship of Master Saint Germain. So when I think of all that, when I read that, I go, well, there's certain places where I am failing. I'm not living, for example, the third house, third level. I am not living with others who aggravate me. And it's really me showing my tendencies of aggravation with others. I'm not finding that peace and love within all of us. And so I think getting back to why did we get it wrong? Because we're still learning some of those lessons that we need to learn. Because we are moving into the age of Aquarius, because we are moving into this age of peace and into this violet flame that Master Saint Germain, the Ascended Master, is showing us in this 2,000-year period, that we need to work on some of those things. And this is our opportunity to work on them. After last night, I pulled some cards on this just to see if I could get a little clarity on how this is all working. And so I said, okay, so is this true? What I just read with, there are certain things in these 7 steps that we need to see more of, that we need to work on. Let me see if I can make sense out of it. And you guys can pull your own cards with this and see what you get. That was just a blank card for a bookmark. Okay, so here's what I got with this. What do we need to learn in this time and space? Why are we, and the other question is, why are we giving the wrong information? And I think that goes back to, well, trust your insights. The first card I get is Earth Mother. So even without looking at the little things down below, the keywords, the Earth Mother, everything is connected. Everything is interconnected, and we are giving birth to something new with this process of finding peace and love. And certainly some people are going to stay, some people are going to go. The Druid, hang on. This is what I said Monday. Hang on. But this one is just hold the space. And so when I think of feel loved and comforted from Mother Earth, and then and I feel like go to the beach, hang out, feel the waters. This hold the space, just hold. It's not to be by yourself. It's hold the space that others can come in here. Just, you don't have to do anything except open up sacred space. Allow love to shine through. And then we get trust and thrive with the Stag. And this is a shamanic card that allows us to tap into our higher selves, to tap into Sky Father, to our intuition. And I'm like, love that. Love that. Okay, so what we have here in the first set of cards is we have love. Open up this space for love to come in, and then trust that the good stuff is coming in. That what we want, how we are ascending, and it goes back to this one. I almost forgot. What we want for the earth is to ascend to a higher place. And with this card, if that is our intention, then we are bringing that forth with that. And then I needed some clarifications, I need a little hug from the sun, a little warmth. We get the sun, enjoy success, enjoy happiness, stand our ground, don't give up. Don't give up on the higher consciousness. So often we get dragged down into the lower. Stay in that higher realm. Oh, and in case that, you're going, am I just making this up? trust that you are the wise one. And in this time, we are growing within our current situation. So it feels to me like we can't hear this message enough. It keeps repeating, at least in my world, on my table, it keeps repeating over and over again. Trust the process, stay in the light, stay in the I am presence of what do you want to create. Awesome. That's it. It's going to be short. Oh, hang on. Maybe I'll do something. Hang on. Well, I was trying to find this Saint Germain prayer for the world. And I will post this in, if I have a community page on this, or maybe on my other channel. But what I did pull up here in this book is, it says, there is a difference between learning a lesson in a gentle way from wise guidance, the wise one, that you embrace, to living through a very difficult experience in order to receive the same understanding. And then it talks about calling in the violet flame in Saint Germain to help with this process, to bring the gentleness of and ease of understanding from the wise one versus learning it the hard way. We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. Sorry, just slipped. Thank you guys for watching. Peace and love.